Hey, I'm going to shift topics here and just kind of go more Xbox general. What's the last movie or, let's say, video presentation, because you might have watched a TV show or YouTube or some shit. What's the last thing that you watched on your Xbox? Try to make this.
I was watching Expendables 2 tonight.
I've been watching the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I'm almost done the whole series.
Let's talk about that, because I haven't watched Expendables. Sarah Connor Chronicles, I was a huge fan of that. I was apprehensive at first, but I became a huge fan. And I think that's the first time I've ever been a fan of Brian Austin Green.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like, he is amazing in that show. Like, where did you learn to act, bro? Kind of amazing.
I don't even know he was. I've never watched it, so I didn't even know he was in that.
It's a very good footnote to the Terminator franchise. Like, it's true, it's canonical, it feels right.
For the most part, some of those episodes in the second season where it became Terminator of the Week, those annoyed me.
Okay, yeah. After the second season, well, to me, those were the lore of Skynet building Terminator, so I kind of gave it a little, like, a breath of fresh air. Like, okay, I don't have to see one guy chasing one girl or one kid. I get to see the lineage of how it's built, so I forgave it. But I'll give you that, Sam. It definitely felt like, okay, this is how they're dealing with the Freak of the Week mode of television producing. But overall, I fucking thought it was amazing. I loved the chick from Garbage, the lead singer from Garbage being in the show. I love the skinny guy that ends up playing the Terminator in the second season. Like, I loved everything he did. I love Brian Austin Green. I like Summer Glau. I think that's the only thing she's ever been good in, other than fucking. She's only good at playing a robot or a fucking brain dead maniac.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing she's good at. And God love her for it. She's good in this. She plays a Terminator who's wooden, just the way you want her. You want her to be Keanu Reeves, do the whole thing, and she is. It's good. I don't know. I'd give it a try, Bill. You might like it.
She's pretty hot. I think Summer Glau is really hot. I loved her in fucking Firefly.
See, I think she's everyday. But
I think she's really hot.
Oh, and
but I like every day. By the way, I like Bland. I'm a big fan of Bland.
Bland's not bad. I'm a big fan of Hollywood. Cute is real world gorgeous. You know that whole phrase. So she's cute in Hollywood. She's a fucking stunner in real life. I believe that, because I see chicks fucking walking around in their football jersey that they like, and their sweatpants and their Uggs, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna fucking bang you now.
That's exactly it. I tend to think that, you know, I think my perception of beauty is a little different from the standard, but I don't really feel like I've been inoculated with unrealistic expectations of what beauty is.
The Maxim expectation?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like, certainly, if I see a girl who could be on the cover of Maxim, I'll appreciate how hot she is, but, you know, at the same time, I can see a girl with no makeup and eyeglasses on, and I can see beauty in her, unless she's actually hideous. But, I mean, you know, she's reasonably good looking and doesn't have goiters on her fucking face. You know, I can see how she'd be pretty.
What do you have against goiters, man? Come on.
They're disgusting.
If something is oozing, stay inside.
Yeah, but so for me, the Xbox One, I was watching, having a bit of a Stallone fest. I was watching the Expendables, and then I watched the opening of Cobra, which I think is
Stallone's best. Shit!
Damn, he's got blown the fuck up.
You can tell by my reaction that I like the opening of Cobra.
I thought he just died on the fucking Halo, but no, I love Cobra. I think Cobra's great, and I think Cobra is the best example of what was great about 80s action movies.
That movie's got the best personified villain ever. Just like the face of a villain. That's what.
Oh yeah,
I go to sleep, I see that guy with this knife.
I love it. Yeah, every guy should just have to say the word pig with sweat coming off of his upper lip, so he spits every time he says pig. And even Stallone in the beginning, like someone's like, you know, he goes in and Edward James Olmos is the villain in the beginning for the people who are actually listening and watching and don't know the movie, and shame on you if you don't, but Edward James Olmos is playing like your standard generic shitty villain, and Stallone comes in as like the super badass cop, part of the zombie squad, and guy shoots at him, he misses. Stallone grabs the fucking PA, he's like, "Hey scumbag, you're a bad shot. I don't like bad shots." It's like fucking bad and hilarious. It's everything. Cobra is everything. Every movie that went on later to mock bad action movies from the 80s, Cobra was the reason they did it. But Cobra is still better than even its own parodies. Cobra is awesome.
That's 100% true, dude. Its
It's
parodies
so-
don't hold a candle. You have to watch that, and when you watch the parodies, you go, "Oh yeah, I get what they were doing." I think I'm gonna go watch Cobra though.
Yeah,
It's just so good.
Cobra never
So
takes itself seriously, which is fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. The
I love that
blowtorch,
opening scene.
the knife, the chin, the ice trays, all of it is just like, this is ridiculous. I love every piece of it.
It is personally my favorite Stallone movie, and I love it. And so I was watching that, and that is sort of a thing that I love with this sort of, and it's not even a current gen. Like Xbox 360 can do it. Just this whole like media center thing. But I do really like that. You can control everything by voice. But at the moment, that's really sort of the only exciting thing about the Xbox One is just sort of you can do that stuff with
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of this level, which is going to probably call it a night for most of us, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm about
So-
ready.
Well, all right. Well,
I wanna
let's
track-
go over some of the stuff that we're not really too happy with.
Let me get one more thing out real quick, Sam. I just want to say I'd like to make this maybe a weekly or bi-weekly thing, where maybe we catch up, beat a level in Legendary, talk about what we've watched on our Xboxes, talk about our feel for the brand. Just kind of do what we did tonight again. Like maybe in a week,
Yeah, that would work.
sooner if we want to, later if we want to, whenever we feel the need. It could be pretty fun if you guys are up
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
I'm down.
Sweet.
So,
Sit here and do my shit.
but let's see. So for stuff we don't like, Bill and I have talked. Like the OS is cluttered. Is a good way to put it.
Cluttered.
The OS,
Use it.
right now, the
Partnership
OS,
location.
which is effectively the Metro UI from Windows 8.1. However, as you get more stuff, it's fine now because you can get to your stuff because you don't have a lot of stuff. But as you accumulate, let's just say 3 years from now, you've bought maybe 30 games, 10 games a year, which is probably very generous. Most people probably don't get that much. But say you've got X number of games and a lot of movies, and you want to sort of quickly and intuitively sort through your content that you've purchased, the current UI on the Xbox is going to become a real bitch if they don't change it soon. And I believe that they must. They will. They have to. Because if they don't, it's going to be really shitty.
Is the Kinect the mouse in the way that the mouse was to the keyboard or the PC? Is that the
I
new
don't think so.
peripheral?
I think the controller is still the mouse. I still think it's the go-to easy way to navigate.
It feels more comfortable.
Here's why I say this. This is a great example, and I think it's very pertinent to what we're discussing. I have a good friend of mine. He's a developer. He's really smart. He's a better developer than I am. He has an Xbox One. Him and his wife use it. He was telling me their difficulty when they play a game. They're playing the Lego Avengers game, and how she plays with him, and how much of a pain in the ass it is when he's playing, and then she comes in the room and is like, "Hey, can I join you?" He's like, "Yeah, come on." And they have to sit down and go through all the rigmarole with the controller and then selecting the thing. It would be so much easier if they just said, "Xbox, sign in as Bill," or "sign in Bill," whatever the voice command is to sign in. It didn't even occur to him to use that. He was still using the controller. And I said, "Well, if you just say Xbox, sign in as X." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I never thought of that." So I do think that people still see the controller as the mouse. It's still the go-to way to interact. Although with the voice commands, they've made a lot of things really easy to do. But people aren't used to that yet. People aren't used to talking to their computers yet. They're getting there. Google's doing it. Xbox is doing it. People are sort of like, oh, it's not so alien anymore, but it's certainly not second nature.
You guys remember that Star Wars or Star Trek with the whales where they went back in time?
yeah.
Star Trek 4,
Computer.
Yeah. They came back to modern day Earth.
where Scotty talks to the computer through the mouse. He's like, "Hello, computer."
Yeah.
That's my favorite part. Every time I think of new technology, I always think of how fucking dumbfounded he was by picking that mouse up and trying to talk into it. I'm like, that's how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna pick up something someday in front of some kid and be like, computer, can we go to Google? And the kid's gonna look at me and be like, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah, use the 3 shells. What are you, weird?
Exactly. Demolition Man. Use the 3 fucking shells.
Yeah, and so I think that the Kinect, and that's exactly what I mean when I talk about potential versus implementation with the Xbox One, is that when you really make an attempt to try to be aware of all that it can do and how you can interact with it, you're like, wow, there is so much this thing is going to be able to do. But right now it's limited, and if you're not even thinking about it, you're trying to use it as if you would use a 360 with the controller and shit, you're just going to be like, what's the fucking difference? Like, I don't get it. Why did I spend $500 on a whole new version of 360? And
it's got to be all
encompassing.
Yeah, so UI clutter. Some of the voice commands don't work all the time. At least for me, Jesus.
I honestly think that if people just talk using their indoor voice, they would have a lot more success with their Xbox. Because I don't scream at my Xbox. I don't like over articulate words. My fiance tends to be like, Xbox, go to Netflix. I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah, it's not an
immigrant. Out your words. I don't know what the fuck Netflix 20 beats is. Just say Netflix. Xbox, go to Netflix.
Yeah, it's not an immigrant.
Right.
They understand.
Right. It's not a deaf person. So I think that that's the hurdle for people to overcome.
You know where the tapas is.
You may be able to use it to track the ship's location.
Yeah, and then my fiance loves to fuck with it. She's like, Xbox, shut the fuck up. Like, it's going to try and understand what you're saying. Now you're just pissing it off.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to start a fucking war with Skynet, you asshole. We're gonna be the fucking first strike option. Quit it.
Could you not piss off Skynet in our house? Calm the fuck down.
Maybe the Terminators won't kill us right away.
I think we've covered everything. Let's beat this goddamn level.
Well, no. There is the really ugly, which is the party system.
Party system. Okay, go ahead. We'll beat it over the party system.
The party system on the Xbox One is absolutely disgustingly horrible. It really is.
Well, there's 2 things. Sam's right. It's awful. There's 2 things, and most people have come to take this for granted with the Xbox 360 is you can just get on a game, if it's a single player, multiplayer, whatever, but you can play the game that you want to play, and then completely separated from what you're doing, you can talk to your buddies. And kind of like what we're doing now, I'm on my computer, but I'm talking to you guys playing on your 360. Right? Is that what's going on right now? So,
yeah, that's happening.
So anyway, there is, when you join a party in the Xbox One, it tries to put everyone into the party that is associated to a game. So if I'm playing Forza and you and Sam are playing Battlefield, since I got invited to your party, I'm now in the Battlefield party, and it keeps trying to get me into a Battlefield game. Even though I'm playing Forza and have no interest in Battlefield, I might not even own Battlefield. That's annoying.
But just because you want to talk to a friend, it assumes you want to play that
right
as well.
Exactly. And the other problem is, that's if you're lucky enough to get into a party where the codex isn't broken, and it seems to me that anyone after the second person, it's a crapshoot whether or not your voice will connect. To this day, if a bunch of people all try to get into one party, there's a great chance one of them won't be able to connect to the voice channel. So you got a friend texting me like, I can't hear anybody. You guys talking? Like, yeah, we're talking. We can't hear you. Oh, great.
Why is that? Do you think it's a hardware limitation or server?
I don't think it's a limitation.
Software implementation.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine how such a devastating bug, and I say devastating because the party system, which is arguably the strongest feature of Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, I use it all the time.
Yeah, and that was the thing. People who loved Xbox would get on and rag on PlayStation people because like, oh, you don't even have a unified fucking party system. You can't talk to anybody regardless of whatever game you're playing. That was like the big argument. That was like the fucking nuke. If you wanted to break out and be like, why should I get an Xbox over a PlayStation? That was your fucking main weapon.
You're like, well, it's cheaper than fucking long distance, man. You can call your family, you can video talk to them, you can do anything you want. It was. To me, like, I was long distance when it came out. Like, I was in the military, 3,000 miles away from home, so it was great to be able to, like, I don't have to boot up Skype, I don't have to fucking jump to my Vision then or whatever.
Stand in line at the phone booths. I don't know if
right,
you're a little younger than I am, but I remember when I was in the Navy, there were lines at the fucking pay phones when you wanted to call your friends and family.
Yep, and you got out your little card, scratch the dust off.
Yep.
And I need to call this person. I have 108 minutes. Let's do this.
Yeah,
back to how Xbox was.
Yeah, so the voice often fails, and it tries to force everyone into a single game party lobby, and that's just weird to me. It's really weird because. I'm going to go ahead and assume, without knowing anyone personally, that the developers at Microsoft are super fucking smart. And to have overlooked two significant, I would say defining features of Xbox Party is astounding. Like, I'm baffled by that kind of negligence.
Yeah.
But alas, there it is.
I mean, it really does come down to that. Bill and I were discussing before, like, you know, we know that the guys who worked on this Xbox Party system, they had to use the party system the way everybody else
You may
did.
be able to use it to track the
So
ship's
why did they
location.
not continue that?
God damn it! Alright, I just got smoked. Alright, let's beat this goddamn level. I'm tired of fucking standing in the sand.
You may be
area
able
here.
to use it to track the ship's location.
And Cortana is tired of telling us we can track the ship's
Yeah.
location. Fuck me!
In the butt? What?
Anywhere. Just anywhere it's gonna hurt me because I deserve it. That was an asshole move. I keep spawning. Oh my god, I just spawned in front of this fucking elite. Let's cover Sam. Get an elite right out to your right. He's just eyeballing you. He hates your guts. You're the demon according to his Bible.
Yep.
Kill him.
But yeah, it really is absolutely astonishing that the party system is just so broken on the Xbox One.
Well, as I said to Chess Dog, Microsoft is trying to sue this guy who had released a series of leaks on Reddit, which are all fairly accurate. And I said that they're accurate because Microsoft has itself announced, in the wake of these leaks, some confirmations on certain things, like a white Xbox. There's going to be a Titanfall Xbox. They haven't confirmed that there's going to be an actual Halo 2 anniversary and that Halo 5 is bumped back. But there's some credibility to some of the rumors. But Larry Herb, who's a fucking douche.
You love him. You love
I
Major.
do love him. I love him like I love getting fucked in the ass by herpes-laden razor blades.
A lot.
That Larry Herb has said that they have been listening to a lot of the fan feedback, and that there's a big update coming, which is going to be, their typical autumn update, which is going to be, actually no, the update now is supposed to be soon, like within the next few months, not the end of the year, and it'll have apparently a bunch of changes in there that users want, things like improved party systems and stuff. So that remains to be seen, but the party system as it stands is curiously fucking weird.
Those early updates where they're like, here's what's going to be in the update, I never trust those because it always is like, what's the happy medium? What are we actually going to get? Because we're going to fix the party, but it takes something away, or it never seems to do only good. It always seems to do some kind of damage to
I'll
what
tell you what.
expected or wanted, or it's never enough.
Since we're talking about it, my greatest disappointment with the Xbox One is the reversal of the policies that were initially announced with the content.
I read you talking about this, and I agreed with you too. Yeah, go ahead.
So I loved the idea that we were going to take a lot of the power away from GameStop to dictate how we're going to buy stuff and what kind of exclusives we would get if we bought it from either Best Buy or GameStop or wherever. And if we bought the game, we could buy the game. Basically, Xbox was, without saying it, trying to follow the Steam model. And though they never said this, I would imagine that they were trying to do pre-order a game on the Xbox One, and they get sort of maybe exclusives for it or get rewarded for pre-ordering it.
It saves the company money. They don't have to print any goddamn discs if everyone's going to buy it right over the server.
And then you would see there would be cost savings for Steam. Certainly, everyone knows if you're on Steam, you can get games incredibly cheap on Steam. And both the developers still benefit, and so do the gamers. And Microsoft was clearly trying to follow this model, but they botched the marketing so bad that they had to reverse everything on an engineering level. And I was kind of bummed out by it. And I reacted poorly to the whole idea of no used games at first, because it's part of how I trade in. Like, I don't buy used games much, but I trade in a lot of old games.
I never bitched about that because I buy a used game once every 3 years, so it never bugged me. I remember Garrett was so up in arms about that, and I was like, dude, I play games with you for 3 years. I've never seen you buy a used fucking game. Ever.
I buy very few used games myself, but like Bill said, I like to trade in games when I want credit towards a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my thing was with the Xbox One, I was gonna conduct an experiment, and I didn't in the beginning. I bought Battlefield 4 and I bought Dead Rising 3 physical media because I wasn't sure how it was gonna work. So I was like, okay, well, I at least want those games on day one because I don't want a system that I have no games for.
Right.
But I've since bought Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I bought Tomb Raider. And what bugs me is that you can, and this is happening now, Titanfall, Destiny. If you order those games from traditional brick and mortar outlets, you can get pre-order exclusives. Microsoft makes no effort to be like, and if you want to pre-order it or buy it digitally on the Xbox One, here's how you can do it. Here are your exclusives or whatever. And I don't need exclusives, because most of the time it's just usually shit that's just there to make you spend more money for something that actually has no effect on the game. So I normally don't give a shit. But like things like pre-order bonuses like betas to other games, like say Destiny. It's fucking annoying. Like I plan on buying all of my games digitally with the Xbox One. I'm almost being penalized for it. And it irritates the fucking piss out of me.
If you're going to buy it from the place that you're getting it from, like say you're playing it on Xbox and you're gonna buy it from Xbox's dashboard, you should get every exclusive offered, as opposed to like let's say like for GTA, let's say there's a blimp at GameStop, and let's say there was a gun at Best Buy, and there was a whatever at Walmart. You should get all three of those for buying.
I totally agree.
Yeah, but see, the whole problem there is you end up with, it's not necessarily the console in that respect when it comes to the exclusives. That's the deals that the publishers are making with the retailers.
Yeah, I know. It just,
especially in GameStop, because one of the things that you'll hear people say, oh, and GameStop forces them to give them exclusives. Like, no, they fucking don't. There's money exchanged, and what GameStop really does in that respect is GameStop advertises the fucking game for them.
They're an outlet, yeah. They're an outlet for the game for people that don't have the means or the want to download it.
Well, digitally. But also, like, you'll see those commercials where it'll be a commercial for the game, okay? But then at the end, it'll say, get exclusive content for pre-ordering at GameStop. Well, that wasn't the game. Right. The publisher didn't pay for that. GameStop paid for that whole advertisement. And that's where, they get free advertising out of it, for one. And there's obviously money exchanged. But you'll hear fucking people like, God, John Total Biscuit Bain loves to go off on this, and he's a fucking moron when it comes to this. But it's not that these retail outlets can force the hands of the publishers. It's that they're making monetary deals that will hopefully, in both of their eyes, benefit each other. Now, I don't like the exclusive content that comes with each, with pre-order at this place, pre-order at that place. If they don't release it later on.
I like the limited exclusivity of DLC and exclusive content that used to happen, it seemed, on the Xbox original. Like Bungie would put out, I don't know if you guys remember this, they'd put out a map pack, and for 6 months it was $19.99. And after 6 months, it would go free. So if you could wait 6 months...
Gears of War did that too.
And that was amazing. Now, nothing's free until it goes into the sales and specials thing where it's, the only reason it's in there is because it's a game that has viable DLC afterwards. If you look at those sales and specials, which I've been buying a lot of them.
And the reason that happened...
It's $4, but everything else is $4 after that to get this and that and this and that. And I'm, man, that fucking sucks.
In the beginning, when that was happening, PC gamers were already getting DLC for years. Like, if you bought Unreal Tournament 2004, any sort of additional content that Epic would release for Unreal Tournament 2004, and that came out in 2003, by the way, new maps, new characters, new vehicles, that shit was just released for free. You just got it for free. It was just considered, additional shit for the game that you already bought. And there was all that stuff came at a time when Microsoft was still like, are we pissing off people because they're used to getting this shit for free? But to your point, Chess, now we just understand that DLC means you're going to pay for more shit.
Yeah.
And so with Destiny, and I'm very excited to play Destiny. Even though Bungie today isn't the company that built Halo that we all love, it's a bunch of people, the writers left, everybody left, but it's still got a pedigree to its name, and so I wanted to get on the beta. I couldn't get in on the Titanfall beta, so I signed up and I pre-ordered Destiny on Amazon, and then they sent me my code. I entered my code in the Bungie site, and then I canceled my pre-order. But that's bullshit. I would have happily just pre-ordered it on Xbox One and just left it there and used my fucking code.
Would you have paid for a beta? Let's say the beta was $5. Would you have paid for it?
Nope.
No? You would pay for a beta?
I know that works
What do you
really
guys
well
think?
with Minecraft, but I am not a big fan of paying for a beta. And that's actually one of the things that people are talking about with like the Steam Early Access, where you're basically
That's
paying
exactly
for
where I was going with
alphas. No.
That's exactly where I was going, is with the Steam Early Access of almost fucking every game. And it's like, you pay $29 and wait 4 years, you've beaten the game, you're tired of it. I think it's an early grab at money to where they can kind of lackadaisically finish the game and not have to disappoint anyone because you've been playing it for 2 years.
Yeah, I read a really good article how there's not even any sort of impetus on the developers to even finish the game at that point.
Right, because people have already paid for it.
Yeah, and I'm very, very intrigued by DayZ. I'm very intrigued by Rust. I want to play both of those games. I am absolutely sick of spending my hard-earned money on games that are broken and buggy so that the onus is on me. I'm frustrated, but I have to suck it up and go, it's an alpha. But I fucking spent $30 on DayZ for a fucking alpha? Get the fuck out of here. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't spend $5. I wouldn't spend $30. Absolutely not.
No.
And that's the thing. You spend this money on a alpha build like that. Like, let's use DayZ, I guess. And hold on a second. I lost where I was going. I'm sorry. Oh well, must not have been important.
Well, like
you're
set.
Move on.
The big idea here is you're in there. You're paying for it. You're expecting updates. You're expecting a reasonable amount of time.
Functionality is the core of it is you're expecting functionality.
Right.
You expect a change of something. If you're in the alpha, you expect your you buy these alphas on a Steam sale. They never once ask you what you think. They never ask you how you feel. You might get a survey every once in a while. It's like, what can we do to make this game better? And you tell them, but really, you rarely ever get that.
Which comes down to the point that you're not even testing at that point. You've just paid for the game in alpha stage.
And I'm so tired of it at this point that, like, when it does come out in full retail and nothing's changed, the end guy hasn't changed, there's no reason for me to play it again. What's the point?
Right.
I've tested it until its completion. You're welcome. I paid $39 to test your game for the other million people that might buy it now.
Yeah, and that's the thing that bugs me, is that there are traditionally people who get paid to sit there and bug test. And although the criteria for a game tester are very different, you have to go in, you have to try and replicate specific errors. It's not actually playing the game, but you're paying $30 to provide data to a developer to make a better game, as opposed to paying money to buy a game that's fun to play. So no, I would not spend a single penny. Otherwise, if I was interested in doing it, there are already games I would have put that alpha access for, but no fucking way.
Right. Now, on the flip side, if a developer that had a game that you were perhaps interested in was to say, hey, we're going to have an open beta, do you want to be in it? But it didn't cost you anything, you'd be like, yeah, sure, why not, right?
Well, of course. Yeah.
The open's different, though. You're not expecting anything. You're expecting only the bare essentials, really. If it's open, you're like, okay, I'm coming into this knowing that it's not a finished game. But if you're paying for something, you're like, I at least know that what I'm paying for is going to matter. And if it doesn't matter in 2 years, what's the fucking point of buying the goddamn thing? You don't get no recognition other than to pay people to maybe finish a game.
Right, and that, you know, this kind of goes into Kickstarter,
in my
too,
mind,
where
the hierarchy goes like this. Standard game, like a finished game, polished, you buy it. Beta, and then free to play. I feel like free to play is basically just like it's actually a step below paying for alpha or beta access.